Hey there, I'm Mark.
I'm Evan.
And on this week's podcast episode, we talk like really deep Clubhouse strategy, YouTube strategy, what else, Evan?
It's really awkward at the beginning, and Mark's probably going to cut it out of the audio version, so go check out the video version. It's 3 o'clock. Drager's not here. I'm eating a carrot, and we're starting the show. That's what happens when you're. Oh, here he is. Here he is. We're still starting. It's still happening. When Drager decides to grace us with his presence.
It's 3 o'clock on the dot. What is the problem, man?
We started at 3.
Hey, welcome to Something to Prove podcast. How you doing? I'm Mark Drager. This is Evan Carmichael. What's up?
I'm great. Basics of setting meetings is when you're on another call, like let people know that we're going to be done at 2:55.
Our meeting started at 3. I logged in at 3. We started at 3. What is the issue? Like, it's funny. I was going back through our previous podcasts and looking at stuff, and you've gotten like a little bit more, like you've always been rough and tumble with me to tell me the truth and whatnot, but you've gotten more frustrated or something. Like what's up? What's happening?
When people don't show up on time and have it ready, I get frustrated.
But the podcast starts at 3, and I got here at 3, and we started recording at 3. So
I started recording at 3.
Yeah.
I pressed record at 3.
Yeah.
And then you joined.
So 3 o'clock is, we have a 1 minute window, right? Like, so we have 3 o'clock exists for an entire minute, 60 seconds, right?
No.
So this is interesting. So I see 3 o'clock as a 60-second window. You see it as the crossover from 2:59:99 to 3 o'clock.
Yes, 3
That's
o'clock.
the moment.
Yes.
Okay, now I know. Just like you told me to stop Facebooking you because you reminded me of that again, and I've stopped. Now I know.
3 o'clock is 3 o'clock.
See, and I've never seen it this way. So this is why I keep saying, like, I don't understand why you're getting frustrated when we start at 3 and I get here at 3. It wasn't 3:01, it was 3. So.
Well, this will now help you for anybody else that you deal with.
Perfect. No one is as anal about it as you are. So
that's not true. They're just not telling you about it.
So now I know that you want to start at 2:59 because again, I see time as a minute. So you want to start at 2:59. So that's when I need to be here for.
All right.
How you doing, man?
Great. Apart from that,
it throws me off my game when you get so frustrated or upset about something like that.
But it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Like today's a Thursday. I'm jammed all day long. Mm-hmm. I'm going all, I'm not going to be done till 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I carved this hour out for us to do, and I want to start on time. This is the.
But now we've just spent 3 minutes talking about it.
Well, but this is this is the show. This is it. This is the show. This is welcome to Something to Prove podcast. This is what we do.
Okay. It just makes me feel like when you hit me with these things that are based off of your perception of how things should work that you don't communicate, you beat me up over showing up 12 seconds late for something. And it doesn't inspire in me the type of conversation I was hoping to have with you. Like it just, yeah.
Well, 12 seconds late is still late.
12 seconds late isn't late by my standards. I understand your standards now, and I will make an effort to be there.
This whole show is about Mark raising his standards. So now we've hopefully done it in this episode.
Okay. What would you like to talk about today then?
I don't care. I show up. What do you got?
I don't have anything right now because now I'm upset that I feel like I've let you down by showing up late for something. I feel like you changed the rules.
I did not change the rules. Flash back to like many episodes.
Yes.
I've started multiple episodes by myself. So this isn't coming out of left field. This is not something confusing.
I made a special effort at 2:59 to cut Amberly off and say, I have to go on another call right now so I could be here at 3 o'clock on the dot. And I did that. And I still get for it. So that makes me feel that doesn't make me feel great.
I'm not trying to make you feel great. I'm trying to help you.
But I don't think you are. I think you're just upset or frustrated with me about me not doing stuff or me doing stuff. And you're just focusing it on this little point.
It's not a little point. I don't know what happened with Amber Lee before. If you thought you're going to be over, then give that more time into scheduling.
Okay. Well, so we haven't done a podcast in 2 weeks. So didn't know if you wanted to provide a bit of an update for the audience as to what's happening.
What happened last week?
Last week you had a family emergency.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the week before that you were on the thing. So it's really been like, by the time this comes out, it'll be like 3 weeks between podcasts.
We don't need to get before. Oh, the week before I had
you were with
Genius
Joe.
Network.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's been a long time.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to kick off with, which is a bit of catch up and stuff like that. But
okay. So 2 weeks ago I'm part of Genius Network. I'm faculty there. So I'm once a month I'm on their live stream. It's all day. Pretty cool. It's like mostly 7-8 figure entrepreneurs who are trying to get to the next step. So that's once a month. What was the big takeaway from there? Every time I go into that, I'm always feeling like I just gotta move everything faster. Like I'm not even paying as much attention to the content. It's like, oh geez, okay, wait. Like, let's go. We got to move this piece has to move. Like, where are we on the software? Where are we on the yeah. So and that's great. I think being in the vibe of other entrepreneurs who are like getting their thing gives you inspiration to go and do your thing. Plus, I'm also not jammed. So Thursday is usually packed, right? Like part of my frustration with the schedule is that I'm packed. It's like there's no breaks. It's all day. It's crazy. So now I have a Thursday that's just not open, but it's just I'm not showing up for a million different things. I'm not even required for most of the show. I mean, people are typing messages to me, but so it always makes me. The past 2 meetings have made me just feel like, okay, I'm behind, massive action, let's go. Last week was family emergency. We got it resolved. It's not really about me, so I can't really dive into the details on it. But just showing up to help someone in my family, and we got a kind of notice. I don't know, noon or something. I don't know when did I message you? It was the day of.
Oh, it was just like an hour before that you had to run.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So
yeah, totally understood.
I had a packed afternoon and this podcast and other meetings and everything. And I said, you know what? It's fine. It's important. You need me there. I'll cancel everything. I think I wrote to you.
Yep.
And then Nina messaged everybody else. And then we went and it was my being there was valuable. So it was good. And now we're here. So since we spoke the last episode, we really talked quite a bit about Clubhouse, and then it kind of shifted gears. But and how are you liking Clubhouse?
I love it. I am enjoying it thoroughly. But what's interesting to me is this is the fastest I've ever responded or jumped on anything scary. So we had a podcast episode on a Thursday afternoon, and then
did you record that Facebook call that we had?
No, that would have been so good to record,
episode,
but I also didn't know that it was.
Are you going to tell the story? You like giving context for the audience, so tell.
Sure.
Tell
so Thursday we talk on the podcast about how important Clubhouse is. Friday, Bo, who works on your team and who's a partner of yours, he invites me out. I create a profile. He invites me out to a room he's holding or something. There's only like 3 or 4 of us. Very soft way into it. And I was like, okay, I kind of get what it's about. It's fun. And then that night I'm thinking, I'm like, what I secretly really have always wanted to be a talk radio show host. I just thought I'd be good at it. I used to listen to a lot of talk radio. I'm like, oh, I'd be so good at this. And I like interviewing people. And I like asking them questions, and I like creating spaces and all that stuff for people to talk. And so I was like, you know what? I think this is kind of perfectly built for me. And so Saturday, I reached out to you really early in the morning. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to go heavy on Clubhouse. But again, my version of heavy on Clubhouse was like, maybe once a week I should do something, maybe twice a month, and I'll probably start in a few weeks and figure this all out. And then you were like, no, let's talk this afternoon. So it turned into like a 1-hour strategy session. I was working in my bathroom because we're renovating. I was sanding plaster. I didn't even have I had a construction pencil and drywall. And I'm like randomly taking notes on 2x4s, on drywall. This stuff is you're just like, this person, you have to talk to, to Rob. You have to reach out to this person. You have to do this. And I'm like taking all these notes, and it became more and more overwhelming more and more scary. Like the fun of the idea really became serious then. And so I went for a walk with Jack, and I was just like, yesterday, I feel like this is the thing. Today, I'm like, I don't know now. Like, this is ridiculous. This is overwhelming. This is scary. This is everything. Sunday, I adjusted my schedule. Monday, I reached out to the people that you wanted me to reach out to. Tuesday, I started my daily show, the fastest I'd ever moved on anything. And I realized by the time I hit 1 week later, so we spoke on the Thursday or whatever, Friday, by the 1 week later, I had already done 3 shows. It was no longer scary to me.
I'm gonna look you up.
You're going to look me up?
Yep.
I had already done a few shows. It was no longer scary to me. In a 1 week window, I had moved maybe even slower than you wanted to, but record pace for Mark Drager.
That was good.
I'd moved quickly. I'd reached out to people, even though it scared me. I had started hosting shows. And so I really am enjoying it. Actually, today you talked about your back-to-back schedule. Today, I've been in back-to-backs my first call was with Bo this morning at 5 a.m. But from 7:30 till now, I've been literally talking all day, presenting and talking and interviewing all day. The Clubhouse energizes me. I love it. I have so much fun on it.
You got 103 followers.
Yeah. Every day I can pick up 1 or 2. Some days are small rooms. Some days we have guests and they're bigger. Sometimes Evan shows up on a Tuesday randomly and the room blows up and explodes. But
100's the hardest. You got it.
It's interesting to me because me bringing on Bo for the We Do Hard Things podcast taught me a lesson about leadership. You taught me that lesson, to trust people and leadership.
Okay.
Listening to you about moving quickly on Clubhouse taught me also a lesson. Like I have learned a life lesson over the last 2 weeks about I don't have this figured out, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even now, it makes me uncomfortable that half the time I don't have a featured guest booked, but I show up anyway because I'm committed to myself. Bo told me to start opening the room 5 minutes early. So this morning I opened the room 5 minutes early. No one showed up for 7 minutes. Like, I'm just standing there in an empty room talking to myself, but I've committed to myself that if no one shows up for the whole hour, I'm not going anywhere.
Are people not saying yes to the meetings, or are you just not doing enough outreach?
Scheduling is really hard right now for people because I have a 10 o'clock. And so on the West Coast, it's 7 a.m. and some people aren't up. Some people start a show at 9:30 so they'll be free at 11, but not 10. Some people don't do any clubhouses in the morning, only in the afternoon. So I wasn't actually prepared for how tough scheduling is because I have rearranged my entire schedule. Right. So between 10 and 11 every day, I do it on weekdays, and I might even do it weekends.
Welcome to Bo's life.
Yes, to Bo's life. But Clubhouse is I've gone into other rooms and I have more fun hosting my own rooms. I don't know if it's a control thing or what, but it's fun.
You're the host. You're not the celebrity.
Yeah. But I listened to your stuff. I listened to your strategy. I've moved really quick, and things are happening. Things are happening. It's
okay, so you need to then get you need somebody to help you. You need a mod / booker.
Yeah, and Bo and I are discussing that, and part of what we discussed at 5 a.m. this morning for our weekly calls was how to work through some of those things. So for anyone who's maybe not on Clubhouse yet, or maybe they've heard about it or whatnot, it's basically just it's an audio room, so it's audio only, which I love actually. And as you're building up a room, people are coming and going. And if someone shows up that you really want to talk to, you invite them, but you need a moderator to kind of notice all these people coming and going. If I'm hosting a conversation with 3, 4, 5 people and trying to keep the conversation going, all this stuff, it's really hard in a big room to notice who's bouncing in and out, or if Evan shows up. And if Evan shows up, you better invite him up to speak within like 10 or 15 seconds because he's an important guy, right?
Well, no, it's not that I'm an important guy. It's that I want to be the speaker. Yeah. That's what I'm there. I don't want to be a host. I'm not there to learn, because I learn super poorly on audio. Yeah. I'm there to speak. I'm there to share. I'm there to help. I'm there to serve.
Well, we had Eric Partaker join one of my rooms, who's the founder of Skype, and he's written a book. And A few people have bounced in where, like I had to go it's 11 o'clock, I've got to go, but someone shows up. So that was the other learning. So this is really great. I would normally try to figure out everything that can go wrong and then start. And this time I just started. I've had to readjust my schedule a few times because I've realized that just because I want something to end at 11, I've added a 15-minute buffer afterwards to give room for, because Eric Partaker showed up.
BJ Fogg showed up at the end of your last one.
Yeah, exactly. So I reached out to him as well, but it's fun. It's fun. It's energizing. I enjoy it. I don't know if it's just novelty or what, but part of it is you just never know where it's going to go.
It's good. It's good for you. It fits you super well.
Yeah. And so the other thing that I learned from this, though, if I can just quickly share, is that I've always struggled with feeling like I've wasted a lot of time. Like, oh, in my 20s, I did all this, I did all this work. I used to, in the video company, I used to sit across from pharmacists or engineers or like corporate type companies and ask them corporate type questions that I didn't care about the answer for, and like smile and nod along. And then I, would do this type of work. Anyway, I couldn't help but feel when we started doing podcasting, when I started deciding to be a thought leader, that a lot of the stuff I spent time on in my 20s and even my early 30s was like a waste of time. And then something like Clubhouse comes along and I realize, oh, I'm really good at this. Not because I need 10,000 hours on Clubhouse. I spent the last 14 years literally being inquisitive and asking people questions and trying to get the truth and trying to get the answer, which is also what makes me good at brand strategy. But it like something snapped about a week and a half ago where I realized, oh, none of that stuff is really wasted because it's what makes me so good at and I got a lot of room to grow, but it's what makes me so good at that and have so much fun with it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I moved quick. It was fun. If you're on Clubhouse, go ahead and follow me and Evan. I'm going to just say that. And then if you want to join me 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. UK time, go ahead and do that every single weekday. So I'll just throw that out there.
Well, when we talked while you were doing your bathroom, you had a concern about, I don't want to look back and realize that this was a moment that I didn't.
That was that Friday epiphany I had, which is I like this. I've always wanted it. I kind of am built for this, but fear is what was going to keep me from moving forward. And then when we had our session, it wasn't actually fear that was going to keep me from moving forward. It was me hitting Thursday and doing this podcast and you saying, so what did you do? And me say, I did nothing. And so I was like, oh crap. I can't show up on to the next podcast and not report back that I listened to your advice. I reached out to the people. I've made contact with them. I'm setting it up. I've started my show. Let's go.
So how do you reallocate your resources to make it better?
Well, so this is a few things I was thinking about to make it better in terms of like being able to build up rooms and bring people in more, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, you as a host, you're fine. You're naturally great at it. I mean, you trained yourself. You are resetting the room. You're welcoming people. Great. But you just need a person to start. You need a person right now who's full time moderating for your show and then booking guests. And then you need to have hosts who come on after you to keep the conversation going. How do we reallocate your resources to make that happen from other projects? I mean, we talked. You messaged me afterwards to say, "Hey, my Instagram strategy."
Yeah, we walked away from that.
Yeah, and I said, "Well, have you followed up with the people that I said?" You said, "No." Okay, Instagram is 0 then. Like, just on your Instagram, it should say, "Find me on Clubhouse."
So if you go to my Instagram, we haven't released a post in, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. Like the We Do Hard Things podcast stopped going up. I would
just post like, find me on Clubhouse. Do one post.
But here's what's interesting though, is I've actually picked up tons of Instagram subscribers from Clubhouse or followers from Clubhouse because it's the best way to communicate, right?
Yeah. Instagram and Twitter, but Instagram is way more. You can be strategic about that. If people are coming from Clubhouse.
So here's
hitting your profile.
So if you always love the bridge, right? You talk about the bridge, what's the first step that you can take, or the 2% difference? So right now what I'm doing is embracing the empty rooms because there's something I can learn from them. So when I have a really small room or I don't have a featured guest, that to me is a really unique and interesting challenge. And I want to use that to kind of develop my chops a little bit.
We don't need that. You don't need that.
Okay. Okay. Well, so the other answer is, so the bridge is you and Bo keep telling me that you're working on something. So I just want to see what that is. And maybe that's an option. The second thing is the We Do Hard Things podcast. We're naturally starting. A week ago we weren't, but we're already starting to overlap. Some of the guests that I'm speaking with are big guests there. And so there's a natural overlap there. When I have a featured guest in the room and people come in, when I have you there and people come in, lots of notable people come in with, so then a good clubhouse day, a good clubhouse room has the possibility to feed another 2 or 3 people who can then the very following week be featured guests. They were willing to show up one time at 10 a.m., which means I reach out to them and I say, hey, next Tuesday, are you free to do it? So it'll start to snowball. But the bigger picture thing is really, I need to get, I need a full-time person, right? Like I need a full-time person who's on my team, I think, to be able to help with all of the YouTube and all of the content and all of the everything. But in the short term, I'm just waiting to hear back from Bo, what his suggestion is. He's told me a few times, you guys are putting something together.
When? Like deadline? Dude, I need to know this week or I'm going to hire somebody.
Am I? Is that what you're telling me I'm doing?
Like deadline. I mean, today's Thursday. It's Thursday afternoon. I don't know. Like, you got to move on. This is action. The people are too slow, including Evan Carmichael. Great. Next, I need to do this. You need. It's not a full-time person yet. It's full-time once you go and have mods continue the show after you. Mm-hmm. It's a part-time role to be there every day at 10 a.m. until 11:30, whatever, buffer, whatever, and then booking people.
Yeah, the booking is really important, of course.
It's significant, sure.
Yeah, because the larger person you can connect with, the larger the room, the more you need a moderator. If it's a small room, you don't even need a mod because it's small, it's not blowing up, it's not going anywhere or something. So I did do the submission to create my own pod group. So that was submitted last weekend or Monday, I think. So hopefully that will come through in the next week or two, and then we'll have a group, and then I don't know what I do with the group. And this is the other thing. This is like, I don't know. This is the first time I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm pushing buttons. I went into some rooms and I heard people, do something. I'm like, am I supposed to do that too? I literally, I don't know the etiquette. I don't know how it works. I'm just doing my own thing. People seem to like it. And so I guess that's what I'm doing.
You're the super host. You ask good questions, you recognize people. You just need that person to help you part-time. And if you don't get it, I don't know what makes sense in your head. Whatever timeline you want to give Bo, cut it in half. And that's when you need to do it.
I was hoping to know back early next week. So cutting it in half would be like, Bo, tomorrow.
Yeah, or Saturday.
Saturday, what's the answer, Bo?
If you can't do it, then you can't do it, right? And you go and you find your own person.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's like,
and you pull money out of like the financial. I mean, it's not super expensive. You don't need somebody. You can either, if North America is important to you, you can get a great stay-at-home mom who's going to do it. Otherwise, you can get somebody overseas to do it. It's not an expensive role by any means.
The booking, you mean, even?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you run this? So what would I do? I would basically
there's levels
someone
of
who's comfortable. Like I can give them a script and I can give them all that stuff, but I'm just looking for someone to go on there, find people, and then, if they're not capable of pre-qualifying, they bring it to me, and then I scrub the list, and then they just outreach, or what?
No, okay. There's levels of booking.
Yeah.
You have Bo who's going after the big guys for you.
Yes.
For the show, and ideally if that can translate into a clubhouse secondary, that's great. And anytime Bo, I do the same thing with me. Like I have my calendar appointments, but then if Bo's booking me Deepak Chopra, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I might have to push some other things to make room for Deepak Chopra, whatever time, right? So that's fine. You have your regular show, you might have to push somebody, and Bo is your superhero coming in, booking the bigger guest for you. Then you cannot have a show without a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So the easiest ones are the people who are following you and the people who have showed up into your room.
Mhm.
And that's where you start. And you interview them. You have them come on. I mean, we could try to do more together, right? I mean, I come on every Friday or whatever to help you build something to get it going. People who follow me. I don't have a massive following on Clubhouse, like 7,000 or something, but there's some significant people that
there are. I was on 6 Pixels of Separation, which is Mitch. Do you know Mitch? He's an agency owner in Toronto and in Montreal. Anyway, he had the person Kat, CAT. She's from Texas. It's at Kat. 1 million followers on Clubhouse, and she joined in May of last year somehow. I don't know when Clubhouse was even invented, but man, that is an early adopter, right?
Yeah. So that person, that's super easy criteria. Just book me anybody who's following me, and when people show up in the chat,
yep,
in the room, you are paying attention. Like whoever would be good to be a mod or guest speaker in the room, you then ask, hey, can we have a dedicated session together next week? And you're only booking a week and a half ahead.
Mm-hmm.
As bigger name people follow you and get connected, then you're not booking out 4 months.
Right.
So it could be anybody. Like you can have a great conversation with anybody. That's the
on Tuesday I have Louis coming on because he mentioned to me that he's finally learning how to get comfortable being alone and put himself first. And I was like, that's an amazing topic. Let's talk about that.
Great. You could find a topic with anybody as long as they speak English and have a decent microphone. That's your superpower. You'll be able to pull out a conversation out of anybody. Now we just want to start. So the criteria just becomes number of followers, really. How many followers do you have on Clubhouse? And we start with anybody over 500, and then that moves to 1,000, and then 1,500, and then 3,000 as our. If there's not somebody you want to bring in, who's just, Louis, who doesn't even have an account yet.
He has an account. I made him get one.
Well, great. Yes. But like, if you want to bring in people that don't fit the numbers criteria, it's fine because they mean something to you and it's a passion project. But for the growth of the account, you're constantly upping the game for what bars we're looking at to bring people on. Mm-hmm. So that could be anybody, right? Mm-hmm. It's mostly done through Instagram. And you create a Mark Drager.
Yep, team page. Or
Mark Drager what?
Yeah, most people are running team, whatever. They just take their name and then they add team or whatever to the end of it.
Team Mark Drager. Mm-hmm. It could even evolve to having Mark Drager like your main Instagram, and then you split the inboxes between personal, or what are they called? There's 2 inboxes on Instagram.
Yeah, there is general and primary.
Right. So like the general is them, and then the primary is you. Mm-hmm. And anybody who you want to make sure you're in touch with goes to the primary. And general, they're saying themselves like, hey, this is Amy from Mark Drager's team. Mm-hmm. I'd love to book you on XYZ.
Yeah, because it really is a numbers game, I guess. Well, like once you get good at having a conversation and resetting the room and remember saying, hey guys, this is a really great conversation. You need to hit that little plus symbol in the bottom right corner, and anyone that you see with a little green dot means they're online right now. Invite them into the room because they have to hear this. Like once you get that cadence and language and stuff, it's about how many hours you're keeping it open for, and how and the guests that you're bringing in. That's it, right? Keep the room open as long as possible. Bring in as many people with a following as possible.
Yeah, and people will pre-schedule and invite. Like last night, the Beach Gang did a thing to help Jamie launch her book. Mm-hmm. So all of us, not all of us, but me, Brendan, Tom, Lisa, a bunch of people. Did you
guys hit the 8,000 person cap?
I don't know. But it was pretty epic. And then other people joined in the room too, who weren't part of the group, but because of our collective audiences and reach, then other people join, and then they share it all over Instagram and all that stuff, which is great. Ultimately this needs to be an 8-hour-a-day show or even a 24-hour show.
See, so this is what you said to me when we were doing that strategy session where I was like, oh, I'm going to run a show. And then he's like, yeah, but the next step is then to get it extended. And Rob was gracious enough, Rob Atkis, Mr. Action was gracious enough. and I was so lucky that you told me to reach out to him. He's a really generous and nice guy and gracious guy. And then he like made it easy for me, right? Like it was an early and easy win. The first one I hosted was just me and Bo for an hour.
Yeah.
We had no guest. It was just me and him. But the next one, it was like Rob. And I reached out to him again. I was like, I love that man. He's amazing. So
is he going to do 11?
He did when I did it. I just asked him if I was going to shut down the room, and he said, I'll just keep it going. So next time I have him on, he's pretty active, but I think he's the type of guy that I would want to have on like every 2 weeks maybe or something. So I'm going to reach out to him and find out.
No, it's a weekly show every week. 11 o'clock goes to Rob, and then 12 o'clock goes to Nick.
Okay.
And then what?
Yeah, keep going.
If you're gonna help the mod, if you're gonna give them a mod, and already set up the room for them, and all they have to do is continue the conversation, and this becomes a little bit of mentorship in terms of how to ask great questions and how to bring people on. But you're getting people who already understand the mechanics of Clubhouse.
Yep.
But may need a little bit of guidance. I mean, you leave them to do their own way and their own style, but a little bit of guidance as to what, how to bring people up and what kind of people you're looking for and what the theme.
But what's the ask? I'm asking Rob to say like, hey, every week,
continue to show.
Every week on Wednesdays, I want you to continue to show for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so on a Wednesday, it's now a 2-hour show, but on the Thursday until I find someone, it's still a 1-hour show kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe they want multiple days. No.
Now, would this be more helpful when I get that group pod thing? Like, because then I can start to bring other people into
sure, but don't wait.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, but have him show up 5 minutes early.
Yep.
And then you transition to him. I'm going to hand it over to Rob now. Rob, Mr. Action. Quick intro for him, and then he runs the show. You don't even say goodbye. Would it be helpful for me to try and run someone else's show, or no? You run someone else's show?
Is that a good strategy or no?
The right one, maybe. I think
I'm going to be honest with you.
Cadence.
I've gone on a lot of I've bounced around at different times of days with different shows. I don't find other people's content that interesting, and it's
no. You have to be the host.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
It's just very dry or very technical or slow.
You have your style, and you have to be the host. You want to be in charge. You want to be in control. You don't want to bounce with their vibe. You want to run it, which is great. So run it. I don't want to run it, right? I want to vibe with whatever they're doing, right? But I want to be a speaker in different rooms.
I'm really like on Tuesday I pinged you because I was like, I don't know, I felt courageous, so I pinged a bunch of people, but I try not to dip into the well of Mr. Carmichael too often.
Oh, you got to set it in advance, like come on this Friday or something. Pings I don't see. I saw it today. For your
I didn't ping you today.
No, I saw your ping in my alert today.
Oh, okay.
And I clicked on it and it said, this room is closed. Go to another room. Like, okay, great. So you're booking people on. I mean, people are DMing me all the time of like, hey, can you join my room tomorrow? Hey, can you join my room at 4:00? Like it's nonstop on Instagram now. People wanting, and it's not just me. I'm not that special. I mean, everybody's all over the place. But that's what you need. You need somebody doing the DM outreach. Mm-hmm. You need to imagine a world. This is your dream life. You're going to be doing your morning show. You're going to have lots of people showing up. You're going to be interviewing interesting people, and then just the dopamine of new people popping in. And that's the challenge that you need to get used to more than sitting there into an empty room filling air. You don't need that challenge. You need the challenge of new people coming in and transitioning from one person to the next. That if I'm there and then Elon Musk joins, you got to cut me off and bring Elon on like ASAP before I move to the next place. And then coming back and not disrespecting the first person and all of that vibe. And then that's running as an 8-hour, 10-hour or CNN 24-hour show. That then what's going to happen is at 8:00 at night, you're going to be curious. You're going to check in on your room and see how it's doing. And then you're going to pop in and you'll be the celebrity for your own. You get to like co-host again with whoever's you're going to pop in for 15 minutes.
Right.
And feel the pride of like, I set this up. This is me. I made this all happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to make that happen fast then.
Yeah.
Fast. You just made it uncomfortable again for me. I was comfortable about 20 minutes ago.
You need one person.
I was feeling great. I was feeling comfortable. You've just made it uncomfortable now again.
You need one part-time person. I mean, I think the mod outreach is you. So that's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Work in progress, work in process, work in progress.
WIP.
Progress.
Yeah.
Huh?
A whip. That's what we call it.
No, it's a work in progress, not work in process, right? What's the expression?
Work in progress.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
That's you, because that's going to be too marked. Like you can't hand that. You can't give that to an assistant or somebody. It's like your vibe, who's gonna represent the brand well and ask good questions and that kind of thing. So I could suggest Nick, but I mean, you're gonna have to like Nick or whoever. So that's you, and that's a slow build. It's like, who have you vibed well with on the show, who you want to then give an hour after, but you paint the vision. It's like, this is where I want to go.
Right.
Just as much as you paint the vision for your clients and your brands and all that, like you need to paint the vision you have to believe that this is going to be epic. I want to create a 24-hour clubhouse around helping people do difficult things. I'm starting it off now. Here, I'm hiring a full-time mod. I want you to be one of my co-hosts after I leave. And I'm going to give you a mod. We're going to set up the room. We're going to make it a great experience. Like, we're going to change some lives with this thing right now. Like, you got to sell the dream to make them want to do it.
Let's go.
The real estate's running out. We're running out. There's only so much land. There's only so many hours, so many time slots. You got to fit you in. And you'll probably phase through people anyway, right? Like, your first people will be okay. And then some will stick and some will go and have different commitments. And just like when I did my live stream.
But do you not think that Clubhouse is going to tumble, fizzle, whatnot over the next, I mean, what I keep telling myself is it's still great practice. It's still great learning. It's transferable skills.
I don't think it's going anywhere. No, it's not going anywhere. Like, not in the next, it might be super hot right now, but the problem is the competitor is podcasting.
Well, the competitor will be Facebook when they release whatever they try to do, the way Google tried to release what do they release? Google Circles to try and take on Facebook or this or that.
It's a different consumption habit. Like, nobody goes to Facebook to consume audio content.
Right.
It's the problem. So, like, Instagram can copy TikTok or Instagram can copy Snapchat and bring it in. But Facebook trying to copy, it's not that it's not possible, but even if it does happen, great, you move your audience over there. You take the network that you built, everybody's moving there, you move there with your network that you plug in. But I don't see it happening. I think the biggest threat is podcasting, and there's no way for podcasting to do this.
For sure.
So for all the people who love listening to podcasts, this is a better experience for a lot of people.
Is it? I mean,
yeah, because the dopamine hit of, like, you never know who's gonna show up. You're getting super deep tactical information based off of people who you're following. There's way more content out there. As many podcasts as there are. Sorry, for conversational podcasts, Rogan,
Mark Maron, WTF, like conversational podcasts, yes. For story-driven podcasts or editorial podcasts or things where you break down a lot of stuff, I don't know. I don't know.
I think the hardcore audience, fans of whoever, will always stay because they're the hardcore. Yeah. But that's a tiny percentage. I think Rogan's going to lose a lot of people to Clubhouse.
You think so?
Yeah, well, for sure. If Rogan doesn't have a Clubhouse, any podcaster who doesn't have a Clubhouse strategy is going to lose a big chunk of their audience. He already is.
Right. Because rather than just listen to 6 hours of Rogan, I can jump on Clubhouse and interact.
Maybe get Elon Musk, or maybe listen to Bill Gates and it's a community in that you make connections with each other too.
Yeah.
There's business happening. There's networking happening in the rooms. People DM each other, say, hey, I was next to you on the row, or I was 3 lines down from you here. Here's what I do. I saw your bio. It was interesting. Where podcast is a completely passive experience. This is as passive or as active as you want it to be.
Right.
Podcast is going to be struggling.
Something that I learned about myself is, we have this shorthand about seat at the table. And in December, I finally asked you, after all of this time of me trying to like just help me picture what the seat at the table is. Like, what table, who am I with? How am I helping them? And that actually really, really helped me. And I didn't even realize how important that is. So okay, I get it. I can run, I like the idea of a 12-hour show from 10 to 10. We can call it the 10-10, but so we run a 12-hour show. I line up all these people. It starts at 10 a.m. I'm hosting, I'm kicking off. I love the idea of jumping back in and all of that fun stuff and everything. Help me figure out in my mind, which is what you did 2 Saturdays ago, when what I was calling you. Help me figure out in my mind how important this is relative to how important is this? Like, how much should I be throwing at it? How quickly? Which is ultimately the thing that slows me down the most, is when I don't realize what's kind of slipping by while I'm waiting.
Well, that's why I talk about resource allocation, right? Like you need to throw resources at this.
Yes.
And that might have to come from somewhere else.
Yes.
So obviously, I mean, we're not talking budgets here on the show, but you're spending a certain amount of money on your personal brand. This should take priority.
Should take priority, even potentially over YouTube subs.
Well, evaluate like how you're spending the YouTube budget. Between
so that's part of why I actually so a few days ago I asked you how certain campaigns were doing. Part of that was I was trying to figure out if I should reallocate dollars elsewhere.
Yes.
But
yes, like if that's the quiz, like I only have so much money. I mean, of course, we all only have so much money, but this is what I want to spend on my personal brand, because I'm also building my real business here on the side, by the way. There's a limit in terms of for your campaigns to get it to the point where Bo can go and book you guests. It's almost there. Right. It's pretty close. So everything else is not that it's diminishing returns. But like goal accomplished, you keep growing. But if you want to, if you're saying, hey, I need to pull back X and I'm going to put all that into Clubhouse to get.
Okay. Well, let me get a little more specific because while I have you and while we're on it. So on the campaigns that rerun for my channel, we're still getting below $2 subs. When I was running campaigns outside, it was $10 subs, $10 to get a sub on YouTube. Right now, we're still sub $2. This is $1.60 or something. So when I looked at those numbers, I went, those are still good numbers. The campaign is still working. This is still good. But I was actually going to shift those dollars from that campaign you're running for subs to my views campaign, because I still get 1 cent views. I still get 60-cent subs, on the second step of our campaign strategy. But I don't know if I pull this or lower this, if it hurts this, but we're going to get to the point in the next few weeks or a few months even where I just pull all of the campaign budget from what you're doing and throw it all into the second half, and then maybe split some of it off somewhere else as well. Because eventually, we're going to get diminishing returns off of our strategy.
If you have nothing new coming in, then you're just constantly like, there'll be diminishing returns on the pool as well.
Right. But that might be longer tail.
If you have no incoming new and all you're doing is remarketing, and you're not building the remarketing pool, you're just remarketing the same people over and over and over again, that's going to be diminishing returns.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, yes, it's going to have diminishing returns, but it's going to be a longer tail. So let's say we cut off your campaign in April 1st. The pool campaign might be able to run before we hit diminishing returns till June or July or August.
Sure.
And then we could take those funds and reallocate them somewhere else, but it wouldn't necessarily be helping this pool. It would just, as you mentioned, we ran the campaign. It got Bo the numbers he needs. It got us the viewers we need. Okay, everything else beyond that's kind of vanity. So how do we reallocate those funds?
So beyond that, beyond like getting to this short-term objective of getting 3 videos over a certain mark so Bo can go and get more great interviews for you, I would have a YouTube budget, and I wouldn't turn mine to 0.
Right.
I would pull out until you're getting equivalency. So how we'll run other campaigns is, okay, this one did 40% better. It's mostly cost per sub is what people are after. If it's 40% better, we give 40% more budget to the pool.
Right.
But not bring the main one down to 0, because you gotta.
Well, that's why a few weeks ago we tried running tests against trucks videos and against a few other ones, because I wanted to see if we brought some of the pool videos up to your campaign, if we would be able to find any kind of matching numbers or not, but we're not.
I mean, whatever, worth a test. But if you want to do that, then the next strategy is a second video with me.
That's what I was actually thinking.
Yeah, like every quarter should be another interview.
Yes.
Because how many people have seen the first video?
I think we're close to 300,000.
300,000. So like those people aren't
something.
They're only being served. Those 300,000 are being served the remarketing, but they're never seeing this video again.
Right.
So they're getting, segmented out. So a new video, that's actually our recommendation.
Yep.
Right now is every quarter to do a new video, a new interview.
So we did that December. January, February, March. Great. When can I set it up with you?
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus. No, I mean,
what do you mean? You like, I need action.
Listen, it's the right, I'm taking myself out of the equation. It's the right strategy for my friend, Mark Drager. Just like you need to hire somebody. And if me and Bo are taking too long for you, great. Like you have to move on and do your thing. I'm pulling me out. I'm giving you the best advice. Now I have to do my role and say, oh Christ, when I'm going to do this thing with Drager.
2-hour exclusive interview with Evan Carmichael. You heard it here first. It's on the We Do Hard Things podcast.
You shouldn't take it to zero. You should constantly, like my campaign.
Yep.
You should constantly be adjusting the budgets. We do past 7 days. Like past 7 days, what was the cost per sub for pool versus main, and then tweak. And if pool's converting better, we put it back into more to the pool. And if we launch a new interview, we try that and let that campaign prove out. Let that campaign have great dollars and then slowly take out of the pool and put into that campaign. But I see YouTube. I don't think you pulled money out of my campaign and put into Clubhouse. You pull money out of YouTube to put in the Clubhouse.
Yep.
So you have a YouTube
but the
budget.
pool is driving right now. It's driving more value than the main campaign is.
Great. So great. Tweak it, right?
Okay.
Say, okay, now per day, my campaign drops.
Right.
And the pool's going to go up by the same amount.
Yeah.
But when you're pulling to go to Clubhouse to hire your person, you're pulling from the overall YouTube strategy, not just from
your campaign.
Yeah. Not just from one
that makes
campaign.
Sense. Yeah. So you're at 275,000 views, which feels good to me. Trucks is at 87,000, only 13,000 away.
Yeah,
And Cowboys is only 19,000 away.
Yeah,
so we're just a few more days, I think 3 or 4 days away from hitting our targets.
Yeah. So if you're going to, let's say you're spending $3,000 a month on YouTube ads, then you now turn it to $2,000. And then within the $2,000, what is the allocation between the 2 campaigns or 3 campaigns that make the most sense? And then $1,000 goes to Clubhouse or whatever. I'm taking 2,000 out. I need 2,000 for Clubhouse. YouTube gets 1,000. Now what's still the best? Because at lower prices, maybe the pool doesn't convert as well as the main, right? So you're constantly adjusting based off the budget. I always look at past 7 days. That's what we're doing. Like every week review past 7 days.
Are you guys leaving the pools just going as pools? Or are you purposely turning off the ones that have, because all of my view counts are a cent or below. So
I keep it.
Or do you focus on subs?
We set up a rule. You're not going to get here anytime soon, but well, you might. I set up a rule for that. If in the past 30 days we haven't gotten an earned view on it, pause the ad.
Okay.
You can set up rules based off of earned views. You can't do earned subs, but you can set up rules based off of earned views.
Yep.
So past 30 days, no earned view.
Why do you think it's too small? Why do you think my pool's too small for that?
Because we only do that when we're hitting 300 videos, because that's a campaign limit.
Okay. But I could look at the last 7 days and I could just rank based off of subs and then do a quick count, because I only have 28 episodes out or something, 30 episodes. So I could rank them, do a quick count.
It's probably
and focus
not
more. No?
Well, okay. So, look at the pros and cons of it. YouTube is going to mostly serve the ads that perform better anyway. And the videos that get the most views are likely going to get the most subscribers for you anyway.
Yeah.
So they're not showing the crappy videos anyway, for the most part.
Right.
I've seen campaigns where a video can start to pop seemingly out of the blue. And that's why I don't want to completely kill it unless it's done. Unless we're limited on the campaign, which is the 300 video limit, I just keep them all there.
Okay.
So you're not going to, that's what I mean. You're not going to be there anytime soon. You need 300 episodes. The
other thing we started doing was A/B testing through TubeBuddy thumbnails. Yeah, and I noticed as soon as we turned on, what's that?
That's smart.
Oh, as soon as we started doing that, I noticed that my view rate in my ads dropped, because now we're serving 2 different things. And so I was still, even with the view rate dropping, so we went from like a 3 in the ad campaign, we went from like a 3.4% view rate, let's say, down to like a 2.8%. Pretty big drop, but we're still getting subs and we're still getting 1 cent views. So if the view rate drops, I know that's not good. We want a higher view rate because it'll be cheaper, but it's still 1 cent. I paused the split tests on, well, one of them already won, like yours won right away and said, no, the original is better. The other one said the second one is better. And we were able to hit stat significance pretty quickly. But on the third, I shut off. Does view rate even matter, you think, in terms of this, what I'm talking about? Like, should I continue split testing knowing it's dropping my view rate within my ad campaign, even though we're getting 1 cent views and still getting the subs we need?
I think it's great to always have a split test running on
everything.
I mean,
okay.
the lowest 50% of videos for click-through rate in impression bands, I would be constantly running split tests on mine. Because if you find a better one that beats the original,
it's an unlock. Yeah,
it's great. Like that can really help you take off with everything else. It'll make your ads even more effective. Because 1 cent isn't, I've gotten down to 0 cents. It says 0, 0, 0, 0. It's like free. It's not, but it's because you're below half a cent.
Right.
So you could be doing twice as good, even though like I'm still getting 1 cent views. Well, maybe it could be better.
Okay.
We went down deep for all the podcast listeners.
People are listening to something to prove. This is actually just what Evan and I do on our mastermind dinner calls. But
so, but you need to. If I'm you, I look at what is my Clubhouse strategy. How much do I need to bring on the person to do the work that I need them to do? And
then allocate whatever's left towards the YouTube
strategy. Take that budget out and then put it towards the ads. I would pull from. If I'm you, I pull from the ads. I mean,
should I be concerned, or is it just ego that I'm at 8,700 subs right now, which is amazing. At New Year's we were at 1,000 subs, I think. So that's great. But do subs, other than for my own ego, do subs matter that much right now? In the next 6 months for me?
No, like that's why putting the advertising. You're basically looking at what's going to help you get good guests on the show.
Yes.
What enables Bo to get you good guests on the show with great stories and bigger names. That's it. That's all you need. And ad campaigns can help. Sub counts can help a little bit in terms of viewing. Like if you're over 10,000, it's a bigger deal than if you're at 8,700, and definitely better if you had 1,000, right? So overall, after you hit the view goals on those videos, to be able to have 3 videos with 100K plus, to be able to reach out to people and say, we've got these 3 videos as an example. I think the next important metric is the subs. So they look at your channel like, oh, this guy's got 100K subs. Wow. Okay, good. Never heard of him, but that's awesome.
Right.
And then you could put an ad budget behind any big interviews that you need to, if you want.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just up against I'm just up against what will get me what Bo needs for guests, what will be the best use of dollars, and then what will grow me to a point where I can have some sort of monetization that I can then reinvest in all of this stuff, all of this team I need, all of this money that I need, all of this spend and what have you, as quickly as possible.
Well, YouTube's faster to monetization, but it's slower on impact. Like Clubhouse is where you can have a big impact super quick. Yeah. Monetization's coming, but you're investing ahead of the curve on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth pulling money from your YouTube ads and put it towards a Clubhouse hire. Part-time person, give Bo a deadline, go hire somebody. If we come up with something in time, great. If not, then even if the person flubs at the beginning and we hire somebody better that then gives to you, like, go, make it happen. You're putting together momentum. 10-hour show, 12-hour show. I would probably do, like, you have your regular morning show and then do like a marathon Monday something. Like Monday becomes the long day. Marathon Monday. When you might be able to come in. When you might be able to come in a little bit over lunch or like
Fridays. Fridays are always best for that.
Yeah, Friday. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You're good at names. The Friday show is the Marathon Friday, and then you pop in every now and then, give love.
So Evan, while I have you, you want to host an hour every Friday for me?
Absolutely not.
I knew you were going to say that. I thought you would say something stronger.
There is zero chance that is happening. I do not want to be a host.
Amazing. Thank you for the advice.
If you want to see the initial video of me coaching Mark on Clubhouse, check out the video right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe. We'll see you there.
Hey there, Mark.
I'm Evan.
And on this week's podcast episode, we talk about Clubhouse and why Evan is a celebrity.
And then we fix Mark's entire life schedule. Good one.
It's a great one.